Hello and a very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priyashe. Thank you very much for logging in. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking for you this evening. Well, fintech major Razorpay has raised about $160 million at a valuation of $3 billion in Series E funding. The company plans to infuse this freshly raised capital to scale up its business banking suite, invest in new acquisitions, and launch in international markets such as Southeast Asian countries. Now, with this latest fundraise, the company has now raised a total of $367 million in funding since 2014. Well, SoftBank is in advanced talks to invest around $450 million in food ordering and delivery platform Swiggy. Sources indicate that the deal is likely to peg the valuation of the firm at $5 billion. Now, the food delivery startup had earlier announced an investment of $800 million by Falcon Edge Capital, Amansa Capital, Think Investments, Carmignac, as well as Goldman Sachs. Well, venture capital firm Blink Invest expects to operationalize a 100 crore rupees SEBI-approved fund, which it plans to invest in 6 startups in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, Blink will be investing 100 crore rupees in startups that have a revenue of at least 1 to 2 crore rupees. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, early stage Accelerator VC fund 9 Unicorns has led the seed funding round in TruNativ, which is a smart nutrition startup. The startup is also focusing on building its network of influencers, including gym trainers, nutritionists, yoga trainers, and also rolling out referral as well as loyalty reward programs to boost its market presence in the coming years. Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who has sold 35 crore idlis and dosas, 10 crore parathas, and 2 crore cups of filter coffee. I have with me PC Mustafa from ID Fresh Foods. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by asking you, how did you manage to sell so many crores of idlis, dosas, parotas, and filter coffee?
Thanks, Priya. Good morning. Um, we we went through very tough times during the initial days of COVID, but we quickly adapted to the change, and we managed to deliver some products to home, and also made sure that the products availability is communicated to the consumers with the technology platform, and that's how we managed to get the products to the consumers. And most importantly, I think we learned something new last year, which is to do more with less. We focused on key SKUs and key markets in key stores. We cut down smaller SKUs, low moving SKUs, as well as some of the cities and some of the stores, and then ended up having reasonably good growth last year. That was a good learning.
There have been so many takeaways from 2020, considering that it was the first time that the whole world went through such an incident. But this continues, the pandemic continues, and we're in the middle of the second wave, right in the middle of it. And I want to understand from your perspective, how challenging has it become now? Or do you think our systems and processes in place to really cater to this kind of growth that you're aiming for?
So I think for a fresh food company, this is the right time. We needed highly perishable fresh food. Our products come with 100% natural ingredients, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing artificial. People are becoming more health conscious, and there is a negative connotation against a packaged food in the market. We Indians don't trust a packaged food. To build the trust, the biggest opportunity is to sell it fresh. When you have a product which is getting manufactured today and getting expired in the next 2 days, people tend to trust that product. And that's how we were able to build this fresh food as a concept, and thereby have that kind of a growth. Uh, Going forward, we managed to recruit a lot of new customers in the last 1 year, and hopefully they will continue to buy ID in future, and thereby support us for the larger growth.
When we're looking at so many lockdowns across the country, essential services are the only services that are available right now to citizens. For a fresh foods company, managing the cold chain logistics and that kind of infrastructure, do you think it's going to be challenging over the next couple of months, considering that there is likely to be, complete lockdowns in several parts of the country?
No, our biggest strength is we own our distribution. For a fresh food company, distribution is the key. And since we own the primary and secondary distribution, it was okay for us to manage. We managed during the last lockdown, and we had no experience of doing it during such a lockdown period. Now we have sort of some experience, and we should be able to manage it better this time. If you own a distribution system, I think it is not that difficult to manage.
Right, I want to talk to you about your growth numbers. And in terms of absolute growth, 298 crores, is that the right figure?
We did 294 last year with an exit run rate of 376. So
All right.
initial period were we were badly affected as like any other business, but then the last few quarters we did catch up, and our exit run rate was 376 last year.
So in terms of absolute, growth, which parts of the country are you seeing maximum traction? I did read out some products that have been the high selling products for you.
Yeah.
So in terms of, if you could give us some touch and feel on where the products are getting sold, is it more general trade? Is it more, the larger supermarkets or modern trade that is really driving this kind of growth? Or is it e-commerce?
Yeah, all cities are doing well. In fact, all products are doing well. If you ask me specifically about which channel, which city, and which product, paratha has done very well for us last year. In fact, paratha has become our number one SKU in ID last year. In terms of the channel, ecom did pretty well for us. Ecom, we sort of tripled our revenue in the last 1 year compared to previous year. And city-wise, we did notice growth in other cities with special focus in Mumbai and Pune. Those two markets did very well for us.
As we move forward in 2021, I wanted to understand you have an aggressive roadmap of growth that you've charted out. So, in terms of expansion and investments, what can we expect? Are you looking at setting up new plants? What is the kind of thought process out there?
So, first of all, we had an exit run rate of 376, thereby giving us a confidence to target for a 500 crore for the next financial year, this financial year. Last year, of course, we learned a lot. One of the things that we did pretty well was setting up a large factory. We actually set up world's largest batter factory in Bangalore. We had spent 40 crores on that plant, and that is a good learning for us. Now, this year, we are planning to expand our operation in new other cities and new geographies, new markets, new countries as well. And we are also planning to set up 3 new factories this year. We plan to invest 100 crore this year to set up new factories in Delhi, US, and Hyderabad.
So, as of now, all your products are exported?
We have 4 factories today: Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai, and Dubai. Other operations, we manufacture products like coffee decoction, which has longer shelf life, and export it. Otherwise, our fresh products are not available outside these markets.
So, when do you expect the US plant as well to be operational, and how big is international?
By end of this financial year is what we plan to operate.
Okay, and how big will the international markets be as a part of your overall business? What do you envisage?
So the opportunity lies around is very, very huge. We strongly believe we can actually build $1 billion revenue business in the segments that we operate today in the next few years. And international operation will contribute at least one third of the total revenue. In fact, we started our UAE operation 5 years ago, and today UAE is already the largest territory for us.
Okay.
In fact, it's already contributing one third of our revenue.
Okay, that's interesting. When you talk about this kind of growth, I'm sure you've got many private equity investors knocking at your doors to invest into ID Fresh Foods. What is the kind of fundraise plan that you have? Is there some specific amount that you think that you'd require for this growth?
Yeah, so if you look at ID's business model, we work with more of a zero inventory business model, and mostly a cash on delivery model. So, and we are a profitable business as well, or a break-even profitable business. So from that perspective, we don't need much of working capital, and we don't need support for the loss making as well. But For the capex, especially for the new factory setups, new distribution setup, we need money, and we are actually looking at next round of fundraise now. We just started the process. We have appointed Kotak for the process, and we just started the process like this week.
All right. And what is the kind of money that you require? Is there some ballpark you have in mind?
So there's a little bit of primary and secondary involved. Details, I think, since it's confidential at this stage, I will leave it at that level. Around 100 million is what we're looking at.
All right, that's an interesting number. $100 million is what you're looking at in terms of fundraise. I want to also talk to you about the categories of expansion. Are you looking at further bringing more categories under the fold, considering that you are already doing well in the categories that you operate in? Is diversification a part of your strategy?
In fact, we are in the process of bringing anything in the fresh segment, right? So if you look at the products that we brought in, we brought all the products which had long shelf life. We brought into the fresh segment. So we just launched this product called fresh noodles in UAE. We are testing that product in the market. So it's same noodles, but it doesn't come. It comes with 100% clean label, no chemicals, no preservatives, nothing artificial, no MSC, whatever we talk about the bad habits of bad connotation about the noodles. So it comes with fresh noodles. So we just launched this product in the market, in UAE market. So far so good. Our plan would be to look at those kind of categories and bring them into fresh, help the world to eat fresh and stay fresh. Noodles as a product you would want to feed your kids, but then you would have a guilty feel giving noodles to the kids. But in our case, our plan itself is feed the kids what they want, but without the guilt feel.
Right. So ID Fresh Foods is here trying to take on Nestle's Maggi noodles out here with the fresher variant.
No. So my point is anything in a packaged form which we can bring into fresh segment is something which we will look at.
Right. That's an interesting concept. I want to ask you one final question before I let you go, Mustafa. You've been an entrepreneur the last couple of years, and even in the difficult times of the pandemic, when brands were struggling, fresh foods as a segment continued to grow. I want to ask you this one question because so many of our startups and entrepreneurs are listening to us right now. What is the secret sauce of your success? What would you attribute it? If there's one thing that you would attribute as the secret sauce of your success.
Stay focused. In our case, we knew we were in the fresh food segment and we don't take the credit away from the homemaker. So if you look at your products, we don't serve finished food to the consumers because homemaker is the gatekeeper for the kitchen. You won't buy idli on a regular basis at home and serve to the family. As a homemaker, you're okay to buy idli batter, add your love, customize to your taste, serve it hot to the family after cooking. If idli comes out well, you get the credit, not ID. And if for some reason, if dosa is not crispy enough, you can blame it on me, brand ID. So one thing that I've learned is never replace your customer. Help your customers to do the job better and stay focused. That could be the right mantra to become successful. And timing of the idea is, of course, very important. Any market, any product, if you get the timing right, you have higher probability of success.
All right, Mustafa. I think many thanks for joining us today with your insightful comments and this very engaging conversation. Thank you so much for your time and being a part of the Daily Dispatch.
Thanks, Priya. We're talking to you as well.
Well, time now to wrap up this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll catch you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and stay safe.